So continuing on with my videos in more detail about the things that I do to help me with my French, this one is about movies. That's one of the things that I suggested to watch movies to help you learn French. Um, it's really a good thing to do because you get to hear people speaking the language, the way it's actually spoken, conversational French. You get to learn some slang. You get to hear it in different contexts and hear a different word usage and hear correct pronunciation. So it's a really good thing to find some French movies to watch. Um, it's a really good thing for me because I don't watch TV literally. Um, I would have to program my HD channel box or whatever to be able to watch something on TV because I don't watch TV. Like if something came on that for some reason I wanted to watch, I couldn't even watch it immediately. I missed like half of it because they'd be trying to find the chunks. I don't watch TV, but I do watch movies. I love movies. That's what I do instead if I'm going to watch something. So I like a lot of different kind of films. I watch pretty much anything besides horror because they're usually really stupid. Um, and I like a lot of independent films, so I've obviously run across some French films in that time too, or actively seek some out. So I'm going to talk about just briefly, some of the films that I like the most. So, hands down, The Chorus, Les Choristes, which I think is kind of weird that I guess they have Les Choristes there. This is an awesome movie. It was nominated for some Academy Awards. Technically, this, I believe, is a British movie, but it's in French. It is about a home with boys, a boys' home for, well, I guess it's a school for troubled students. They live at the school, though, and a supervisor guy comes. Basically, he watches them in their free period, and he is like a failed musician, a failed composer, and he ends up using music as a way to get the kids, to behave and to learn and to be good and be better and all that kind of stuff. It's basically the French Mr. Holland's Opus. So this movie, I love it. I love, love, love this movie. I cannot say whether or not it's the easiest to learn French from. It seems like the language is not that advanced. I mean, it's a bunch of kids in there, so there's kids talking a lot. But, there are situations, especially when the adults are speaking, where it's a little more difficult to understand, but the same thing as with music or when talking or reading. The pictures and the story help you with the context and help you learn the words. So as far as movies go anyway, what I recommend you do is first find some movies that you enjoy. That's the key thing. Don't just grab a movie just because it's in French. Read the description, see if it's something you think you're going to enjoy, and then go ahead and rent it or buy it or borrow it or whatever and watch it. First time you watch it, go ahead and watch it with the subtitles. You're not going to understand that stuff. But anytime after that, or if you're feeling brave, I say turn off the subtitles if you can and just try to watch it and figure out what they're saying and what's going on from the knowledge that you already have of French and from the context of the story, which should not be that difficult. So Les Choristes, definitely got to get that. I talk about it in the music video as well. Soundtrack. The songs are pretty simple language, so those alone from this movie could probably help you, and it's a beautiful soundtrack. It's a great movie, great soundtrack. Highly recommended. That's really the only French movie that I own, I'm kind of embarrassed to say. But the reason for this, I have this thing where I refuse. If you just heard that, that's my fish. My fish is crazy. If you look in the corner of the screen, you might even be able to see it. when it does it, but it jumps up and hits the top of the fish tank for some reason. It makes that noise. I don't know what's wrong with it. So sorry about that noise. Like, that's one noise that I cannot stop. But anyway, I have this thing where I refuse to pay more than $7 for a movie. So at some point, this must have been $7. I just won't do it, which means that I miss out on some movies. Like, I love Disney, but I never buy Disney movies because they don't go any less than $10, and it takes forever for them to get to 10. Some of them never do. So the Disney movies I have, somebody else bought me. And the foreign, international, that kind of stuff, because it's not popular and mainstream, it never usually gets down to $7. So I don't end up buying French movies, and you don't always find them in the store. When I tell you the other movies that I like a lot, I've never seen those in the store. So that's why I do not actually own a lot of French movies. Well, I don't own any except this one. But I have seen a bunch. Like, I've rented them over the years. There are French movies on Netflix. If you have Netflix, there are French movies on there. I would say probably do a search for French movies on Netflix whenever you're ready to watch, and try to find an updated list, because they change their movies so many times. I can't like tell you a list of movies that are on there and say that, you know, they're going to be on there when you're ready to watch. So just kind of search for that. And the way I search is basically I follow the actor. So after I find a French movie, I click on the actors to see if there are other movies with them. That's a good way to find movies. Or you can click on movies similar to this or whatever when you do a search, and it'll show you a lot of times other French movies, as well as probably some non-French movies because of the actors or something. So, Les Coristes, another movie that I liked a whole lot and would like to purchase if it would just get down to $7, is Il y a longtemps que je t'aime, which you will probably see as I've Loved You So Long. So if it's on iTunes, probably on Amazon, so you can buy the digital version of it. You could probably buy a DVD from Amazon, but you'll see it probably as I've Loved You So Long. This movie has Kristen Scott, who also does American movies sometimes, or movies in English, I should say. In this movie, she has been in jail for many years for murder, and she has gotten out of jail, and she goes to live with her sister, who she has kind of a strained relationship with, and it's about her reorienting herself into society and getting used to things and growing her relationship with her sister. It probably sounds kind of sad and depressing as I'm talking about, but it's a really good movie. I'm not sure if they tell you in the beginning who she killed. I think they must, because I think I kind of remember spending the whole movie wondering, well, why would she do that? Or did she do it? You know, I kept thinking she didn't do it. But basically, she kills her son. Hopefully, that's not a spoiler. And then you just have to figure out whether or not she did it, and if she did it, why. But that's not really, I wouldn't even say that's the main part of the story. It's really about her building relationships after coming out of jail for so long. And it actually, to me, ended up being a feel-good movie. So I recommend it. Il y a longtemps que je t'aime, ou I've Loved You So Long. Kristen Scott. That should be a way to help you find it. Couple other movies that I like a lot. These are the ones I'm telling you now are my favorites. I'll give you a list of a few others that, you know, are there that you can watch. Mon meilleur ami, My Best Friend. So that's on iTunes too, probably on Amazon. You could probably buy a DVD from Amazon, but you'll probably see it as My Best Friend. This movie has Daniel Auteuil. I don't know how to say his name. It's like Autiel or something like that. So Daniel and Danny Boone. And it's a comedy. It's hilarious. So Danielle, I believe, I hope I don't have the actors mixed up, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Daniel, is like a jerk. He's like a business guy, and he's a jerk, and he takes this dare from a group of his, I guess they're his coworkers, because the whole thing is about friends. And they tell him basically that he doesn't have any friends, and so the dare is for him to prove that he has a friend or find a friend by a certain amount of time. I think it might have been 30 days or something like that. So he makes friends with Danny Boone, who is like a cab driver or something. And it's just so funny. And it's touching, too, because Danny Boone, thinks he's really making a friend. He doesn't know about the dare. So it's a good movie, and it's pretty funny. I highly recommend Mon Meilleur Ami, my best friend. Last of my favorites that I can think of right now is a more recent movie. It's called Les Intouchables. I don't know. I think it's called The Untouchables in English, but anywhere I've seen it, it's Les Intouchables. So it's in the French. I think I saw this on Netflix. They probably have it on Amazon. I haven't checked to see if it's on iTunes, but it's something you should be able to find. It's a little more recent. This one is based on a true story. It's about a guy who is paralyzed. Who in the beginning of the movie, basically he's looking for a caretaker to help him with his daily activities, and he hires this guy who isn't really trained for the job, but for some reason he hires this guy, and the movie is about their exploits together. The guy basically really pulls him out of his shell and gets him to do things, and eventually brightens his life. So it's a really feel-good movie. There are a lot of humorous points in it, touching points in it. Excellent movie. So my favorites, Les Choristes, Il y a longtemps que je t'aime, Mon meilleur ami, et Les Intouchables. Other movies that you will see all the time, probably almost always on Netflix, Chocolat. Chocolat is okay. It's a little odd, and I love movies like that. I love all Wes Anderson movies. I like stuff like Being John Malkovich and Kyle Atlas. Weird movies, that have little things going on like that. I like movies like that. But Chocolat is a little strange. But it's amusing. It's a feel-good story. And it's not that difficult to understand. And it's almost always available. So I recommend you watch that. And like I said, one way that I find movies is to follow the actors. So there's another movie called Micmacs, which is also kind of odd, but highly entertaining. That's in French. It has Danny Boone in it, I believe. I think that's how I found that one. So it's kind of a humorous movie too. Definitely feel good movies for you. So those are a couple others. There are plenty others that I've seen that I just can't think of right now. I know Fluent U has some lists of the best movies to watch to learn French, so you could check that out, or you could just do a general search online and find other lists on other sites to find some movies. But the key thing is to just find a movie that actually interests you, watch it, listen, and learn French that way. Like I said, you might want to try to watch it first and then watch it without the subtitles, try to get the context and everything. If you really want to do something, you could try to write down the language, but I would never do that. I remember when I was in high school, they had this really lame, probably video made by some company that makes textbooks or something. It was about some guy. I don't even remember what the main story was, but I remember his name was Paolo Colombini, just because the lady at the hotel had to spell it out. But basically, my teacher gave us like the script to this movie with blank spaces in it, and we had to fill in the spaces with the words. And maybe even later, maybe like translate as much as we could on a test or something like that. I actually was pretty good at that. I probably was one of the best people, but that was an easy movie. I don't think I would enjoy doing that now. So, I mean, if it's your thing, that could be an excellent way to learn the language. But movies are so long, and I don't know, that just seems like it takes the fun out of it to me. But again, I want to petition you all. If you know some good French movies that you think I would enjoy, like I say, I watch pretty much everything except horror movies because they're usually dumb, but I have seen horror movies. I just don't prefer to watch them. Recommend me some good movies. You've heard some of the ones I've seen already. You know some good movies, let me know so I can watch some and learn some more French. So movies, gotta do it, gotta try it, watch some movies.